Hey everyone, this is Patrick. What's up? This is another edition of Heavy Therapy. This is a collection update. I got a couple CDs to show. I have a couple of tapes to show. And I have a couple of LPs to show. No real particular order. Let's start with a CD here. So, this is a band and an album that came out last year. So I am talking about Torturer's Lobby with Deadened Nerves. Torturer's Lobby formed in Tampa, Florida. This is their first LP, and it includes Dwayne on drums here, and he's also the drummer of Church of Disgust. So this band, being from Tampa, Florida, is going to be important because of all the influences that they throw in here. So, this is not a death metal band, but you hear a little bit of that Tampa, Florida death metal influence throughout this album. This is out, by the way, on Caligari Records, and you know Caligari has great taste in sort of curation and scouting, so they did it again. So, this is the closest I've heard to Possessed Seven Churches. Not exactly even in the sound, but in all of the different collections of styles of metal and hard, heavy music that they bring into their sound. Sort of, you can put on Possessed Seven Churches maybe if somebody likes heavy music, but they don't particularly like a specific extreme style. They might like, because there's a lot of diversity. You know, it's not just grindcore, it's not just black metal, it's not just whatever. For somebody who likes heavy music but might not have like a niche that they love to sit in all the time, those kind of albums is what I'm thinking of. So, Torturer's Lobby plays mostly blackened crossover thrash, blackened heavy metal. It can also be understood as death punk at the same time. Some of the speeds approach grindcore, but basically you hear them as like a faster style of hardcore punk or a faster style of black metal. The intro, Dawning, is a 90-second clean guitar intro, something that wouldn't be out of place on a Metallica album. Track 2, Barbaric Alchemy, is a crossover thrash with aggressive, almost blackened vocals. The vocal approach here is maybe not too dissimilar from Abhorration's vocal approach. Abhorration put out Demonolatry last year on, and like, so that style of vocals maybe will be appropriate to in terms of reference points. So the final minute of track 2, there's a straight up Chuck Schuldiner death riff, and that's what I mean by Tampa is important here as well. Track 3, Chromosomal Devastation, brings in some more sinister tremolo guitar playing. The melodies on here are dark and evil sounding. The production of it reminds me of, so the guitars are fuzzy like HM2, but it might not exactly be HM2 pedal at the same time. Second wave black metal, Dissection, Sacramentum, that kind of production, those kinds of production values. Track 5, Reaper's Impunity, bring in some goth or gloomy influence. Not too dissimilar from one of the more slower singles that Gatecreeper put out last year. But also this has more aggression and energy as well. There's also a solo on that song that during the bridge that reminds you that you are in fact listening to heavy metal and not punk. So yeah, I really enjoy Torturer's Lobby. Let me show you the cover again. Four-piece out of Tampa, Florida. You have Adam on vocals, Conway on bass, Evan on guitars and vocals, and Dwayne on drums. For fans of Concrete Caveman, Horrendous, for sure Horrendous, early Horrendous, Death, Possessed, Dissection, Sacramentum, Demiser, and Immortal Bird. Alright, that is one of the 2 CDs I am going to show you today. Let's do a vinyl next. So This is Aara's Eager album. This is, I believe, their 6th LP. Aara are from Bern, Switzerland. They are a 3-piece. You get Berg on guitars, bass, and keyboards, Fluss on vocals, and Joshu or Jay on drums. Here's the gatefold art. The cover artwork here is by Michael Hant, and it's cool because it looks like a photo of the Alps there, but it actually is a painting. Or, drawing, some sort of human created, well, I guess photos are human created too, but you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, let's try to. Yeah, so it's actually a drawing, which is just, it's so super cool. Really cool idea. Aara are one of my favorite current black metal bands around. Brutally melodic, right? Extremely melodic, yet extremely heavy at the same time. Heavy in a black metal sense of the word heavy. Tremolo riffs on here are amazing. Crazy double bass kicks. Shrieking, pained, and misery vocals by the vocalist Fluss. It's Fluss. She is just one of my favorite black metal vocalists right now. This is a little bit heavier at times. It gets into more crunchier moments. Think of Spectral Wound, how Spectral Wound brings in those 4 on the floor crunchy riffs, grooves. They bring in some more acoustic guitars on this album. Think of Afski. It's another term in terms of reference point. Afski is that one-person project, black metal project out of Denmark. Yeah, Aara. So far, they put out just amazing albums. Almost one album per year at this point. And extremely emotionally driven, cinematic driven, fast black metal. Killer melodies, killer tremolo work. Yeah, just awesome band. Aara, Eager. Kind of polarizing in the community a little bit, and that's what makes her a great band. Often 8 tracks, 55 minutes of music out on Debumer Morty Records. Alright, I'm going to actually go with another CD. So this time I want to cover this band right here and this album right here. This is Sanctuarium with Melted and Decomposed. Black Seed Productions put out the CD. Misaka Unoho put out the vinyl. The vinyl only has 4 tracks. The album has 5 tracks, which is why I picked up the CD. Don't sleep on Sanctuarium. So they also feature members of Troll Cave. Sanctuarium. Here, really cool cover art. Reminds me of reminds me of first few Incantation albums. And I can't think of who else I'm thinking of right now, but just love the artwork there. So this is one of the best Death Doom albums that I've heard in a long time. It definitely would have been on my top 40 list of last year if I would have gotten to it quicker. It's a 5-piece, again featuring Carlos and Necrohelm of Troll Cave. Necrohelm is the main songwriter on here for fans of Disembowelment, Incantation, Father Befouled, Crypts. It's always cool to me just when Death Doom is a style that sort of by definition has some limitations in what it can usually bring into the sound. So I like when another Death Doom album with not a lot of ingredients sound capture my attention the entire time. These are long tracks, 10-minute tracks, 9-minute tracks, and they keep my attention the entire time. The vocal approach is a bit like Spectral Voice, and that's cool for me. So yeah, it's hard to have don't know if I have a favorite track on here, but it's really, really good stuff. Exultant Dredge of Nameless Tombs, track 2. Amazing. But yeah, 5 tracks, 48 minutes and 18 seconds of music. There's the back. And yeah, just a killer release. I believe this is their 2nd full length, if I didn't say it already. And as always, stay death, stay rotted, stay doom. Let's go for another tape. Or is it the first tape? This is the first tape I'm showing out of 2 tapes. So these are both more 2024 releases. So the first tape, let me go ahead and show you this one. This is a band that I also caught last year at the very last minute because it was on a couple of other people's lists, including Simon from Explosive Action. If you don't know who Simon is, I'll put him up right here. Follow Explosive Action. He's one of the best YouTubers that I found. One of my favorites, at least. This is hard to pronounce for some reason. Tomvos, World of Abominations. This is a Iron Fortress Records tape release. And boy, this, as Simon says, this just sounds like a continuation of 1991 death metal. If it came out then, it would sound exactly like it should have came out then. Band's from Scotland. This is the first LP, second ever release after a 2021 demo that also has these same songs. Old school death metal in the vein of Morbid Angel, Benediction, and Deicide. Sort of modern bands, maybe Outer Heaven in terms of the vocal approach, and Ossuary in terms of the sound sometimes when they slow down. But yeah, 8 tracks, 34 minutes, actually about 35 minutes of music. Cool cover right there. Oops, here, there you go. Get resolved a little bit. Artwork by Yara_artworks. Logo by Mark. Layout by Septic Fog, who is the purveyor, the bringer of filth over at Iron Fortress. So yeah, cool tape. Always careful attention to detail in terms of the production, the packaging from Iron Fortress. And next up is another Iron Fortress release. I'm wearing the hoodie as well, so this is also part of my collection update, right? This is Swampgrave, and here's the back of it. And what do you get? So Swampgrave are, on the surface, Swampgrave is just another old school death metal band, right? But they are from Louisiana, and they bring in a lot of energy and aggression that, and just overall attack that you hear in Power Trip as well. This is Swampgrave's Hollow Souls EP. And Swampgrave, yeah. Straightforward, hardcore influenced death metal, heavy, catchy. Love this EP, one of my favorite EPs of the year. Favorite track. Track 1's very, very good, visceral. Tomb. I like Man's Gotta Eat, track 2. I can see that getting the pit moving. And then it ends with Carnal Tormentor, that is just, sludgy, heavy, doomy, hardcore influenced death metal. Swampgrave. Band that does not have too many albums out yet, but a band that is ready to go again in 2025 from what I can pick up in terms of communications and information that I've learned. So yeah, check out Swampgrave. If you like death metal, you like it swampy, check them out. So final album I want to show is going to be a vinyl, and it is going to be band that's been around for a while now at this point, 15 years. This is Sulfur Aeon with Gateway to the Antisphere. This is their second album from the band. They're from Germany, and this is 11 tracks and almost 52 minutes of music out on Emporium Productions and Van Records. This is a Van Records album reissue or issue of it. Cool killer artwork. It's a gatefold. I mean, look at that. Album cover artwork once again splendidly evoked by Ola Larson. Sulfur Aeon. This album of theirs is noisier. So the genre overall is black and death metal, I would say, and it came with a poster as well. So I like how big and epic and heavy this band sounds. There is one side of the poster. Here's the other side of the poster. This is some Cthulhu influenced black and death metal. If you like stuff like Behemoth, but almost just a bit more crunchier, a bit more heavier, then you might like Sulfur Eon. It's a bit more dissonant at times. Clean production in a way that is just necessary. Cool melodies, stomping groove, guitar playing always gives you something cool to listen for. Know how to write songs and overall albums at the same time. So yeah, Sulfur Eon. Let's see what the variant. I believe the variant on this was. It's gonna be hard to see. It's kind of like this. There it is. It's not too hard to see actually. Smoky translucent. Whoa, it's gonna mess up the image for a minute. Don't know how that's going to resolve itself, but yeah, so just an overall killer black and death metal album, black and death metal band from Sulfur Eon. They are from Germany, like I said. It's their second full-length album, and yeah, just a band that keeps putting out good album after good album. And I believe this was the first one that I've picked up. I have a couple others if I haven't shown them yet, but yeah, Sulfur Eon. They kind of sound like nobody but themselves at this point, which is why it was kind of hard to give you some bands that they sound like. There's one other band that I'm trying to think of that they sound like that I can't quite put my mind around. They're a Dark Descent band. But yeah, if you haven't heard Sulfur Eon and you like black and death metal, check them out. Those are my recent pickups. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you all in the comment section as always. Remember to stay heavy. Bye.